Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, we are wrapping up this prelude into Season 2, getting excited. Narja's banner is officially ending. Before that, I want to talk about her, whether you should be pulling for her, how to build her, everything you need to know. But before we get started, I want to give a lovely shout out to Smilegate for making this a paid promotion video. Without you guys, I wouldn't be getting this kind of opportunity, so thank you guys so much. That being said, just to be transparent, all of my opinions are of my own. They don't make me say something that I don't want to. So with all that out the way, timestamps below where you're interested in, let's get started. Now, first things first, let's just talk about this gorgeous wallpaper that you get at Affinity level 10 if you get Narja. She looks fantastic in her little wedding dress. So, hey, right there, already kind of peak, you know what I mean? Like, the wallpapers for CZN are looking really good. To me, I think Serenial is still insanely peak for the amount of fan service, but still looking really nice. I love the Gooner aspect of this game, but let's talk about the pulling aspect as well. It is kind of questionable right now whether we should be pulling, because once again, this is a standard character, which is fine, but she's also going to be added to the standard pool. So if you are saving up all your standard pulls to see if you can try to luck sack Narja, that can be a way to go about it, especially because we know that we are probably going to be getting another limited at the end of Season 2 as the final unit, so we can be more prepared this time. It's also risky just because of the amount of currency, and we already know the next character is 9, so if you are really interested in how they look, this is how they look. They are going to be an order character, so make sure you're grinding everything that you need to know about them. But still, you are excited, and you really love Narja, pull for her. She's a great unit that is starting to become an overall better Mika in the sense that she can kind of be whatever you want to be. She can be a great DPS, a great support, depending on what you want to do with her. I'll be talking about that, especially when we get to the Epiphanies, but still really good. But I will say, it's kind of a shame because I love Gaia. I'm going to be making a final partner video tomorrow talking about her. Still kind of a shame that her great looks is just kind of hidden behind the partner. It's always a shame, but still, it is what it is, man. And in terms of the Prism Gacha and stuff, I decided to save mine personally, just because I'm waiting for a character that I really like. Narja looks cool and stuff, but she's just not waifu. I went really all in for Serenio and Yuki and Chizuru, but those were because I really like them. 9 looks cool. I need to see more with her to see if I'm going to use it, but we'll find out, because right now I have 87, so we're chilling. But now, let's finally talk about Narja, because for me, stats-wise, all of her stats are pretty much at 500, 300, 595, crit chance 46, critical damage 165, nothing special. The one thing that you're really going to want to keep your eye on, though, is your defense. If you could try to get over 300 defense for Narja, we will be talking about why in the potentials, but I feel like that's going to be really great for you. Now let's start talking about cards. So basic set here, we're going to ignore the defense cards because most of the time you're going to be trying to get rid of these. So let's start with talking about our first Epiphany with Shackles of Hunger. The default for Shackles of Hunger at 36% defense-based damage times 3 and attunement giving you 4 veracity. So with all of these Epiphanies from left to right, let's talk about them really quick. Now this one, a great card just because you get an extra hit in, but also you get 6 veracity. So you can't really go wrong with this card. This is honestly a really great pick. Even though it looks basic, it's a great choice as well. I definitely like this card as well. And then this one, I really don't like this one just because I don't really like how you get less veracity. I feel like you want to get more of that. I will say though, if you can time it correctly with the activation here of the veracity from the previous turn, you could probably do something cool here, but I don't really like this card personally. This one's really good too if you're more focused on a DPS version of Narja. This can be really good as well, and it's really powerful as well. So I like this card if you're more focused on the DPS aspect. The very first card is probably more preferred just in terms of just support. It's really nice. I also really like this card as well because not only can you hang on to it, but it decreases veracity by maximum 5 and plus 40% damage amount to the next card used. For each amount decreased, if 5 is decreased, you get 3 predation. In my opinion, that is really good because it's plus 40% damage amount to the next card used. So it just adds some really good damage for her. So honestly, I really like that as well. And then this one, it kind of iffy. It's 72% shield and decreased veracity by maximum 3, and you can repeat it for each amount decreased. It's great if you really want to get shield, but at the same time, I feel like there are some better ways to try to go about it. So I feel like your main picks are definitely going to be 1, and honestly, maybe 3 if you're going for DPS, or even 4. I really like those cards. So there's some flexibility there with, once again, it's kind of like a Swiss Army knife. I really like when Gachatabi mentioned that, because it's really true. She really is like that. And same thing when it comes to like Bottomless Hunger as well. Like this one, you get 3 veracity. The next 2 times veracity is activated, decreased 1 cost. So that's new, where you get 3 veracity. But this one is definitely going to be like the main one that you want to go duplicate for. The utility with this is great because it decreases the cost of 2 random cards in hand by 1 for 1 turn. That's great. The fact that it goes from 1 to 2, really fantastic. So honestly, I have this duplicated as well. This one's a little bit interesting. It's a unique card too. When veracity is activated 3 times in 1 turn, you decrease the cost of 1 random card in hand by 1 until used, and it's only 1 time per turn. What's interesting though is also this is a unique, so you can try to get away from trying to build some certain cards with her very easily. If you're trying to like duplicate a certain one, you can get away with it by doing the unique option. And this one's really great for the DPS aspect of Narja. Retain for 1 turn plus 100% defense based damage, and that's a retain. So you can try to time it correctly by having that retain aspect. Really great for her. So once again, if depending on what you're going for, you might either want to do the utility of the decreased cost 2 or go for this one. Can't really go wrong. I really don't like this lead card. 7 veracity, and then for 1 turn, each time veracity is activated plus 40% damage amount to the next mealtime. If you're really focused on trying to get mealtime, maybe you can do that if you want for the build, but to me, it's just kind of whatever. Now for the next set of cards, we also have voluntary control. If veracity is fewer than 6, gain 6 veracity. Once again, this is kind of similar to one of the previous cards where you just get more. This one's a great pick. It's a solid, safe pick. You get more veracity, more predation. So that's pretty nice. Now this one, if mealtime is in draw pile, move to hand, and if in graveyard, you get 3 morale for 1 turn. Now me personally, I really don't care for mealtime and like trying to activate it more or use it more. So for me, I kind of avoid this card personally. This one's okay too. For 2 turns, each time action count of the target is decreased, you get 1 veracity. This can really work well for you to gain a lot more veracity. If you are fighting a boss with a lot of action counts, this can actually be beneficial. But if you are just doing like normal rounds and they have like not that much action counts, it's not really gonna be beneficial, especially if you're doing like Basin of Hyperspace. This one's really good if you know that you're gonna be getting a constant card. I love this unique because it gives you 10 veracity and you select 1 attack card, 1 predation each time that card is moved hand. This one is really good. Let's say if you're using Serennial. Now, when it comes to using Serennial, let's say that you replicate your homing laser. You're going to be getting that constantly because of the way Serennial works. So this is a fantastic use case and a great unique card. And this one's also really good for, let's say, if you are pairing Narja with Mei Lin or something. Because each time a basic attack card inflicts a hit, you gain 1 veracity and plus 50% damage amount to basic attack cards. This can also really work well with characters that use their basic cards, like Chizuru, who's also getting a buff, so really great timing with that, so that's fantastic. So honestly, this one's pretty tough, but if you go for 1, 4, and 5, can't really go wrong, man. Now, I would be talking about duplicates, but since most of the good ones are uniques, really, if you're going for number 1, you probably want to duplicate it if you can. If not, go for Bottomless Hunger, so just keep that in mind. And then we also have Domain of Veracity. Now, Domain of Veracity is a little bit different because this one's like on Ravage, you gain 3 veracity, so this one can be okay depending if you really have like Serennial, someone who can always trigger that Ravage really fast. But in my opinion, this card is also really the best one because for 2 turns, you gain plus 100% defense based damage taken by the target. That's just really nice, especially for Narja, or if you're pairing her with Khalid, that's just really good right there. Now, if you really want her to be a good support, you can go for this card as well. This one's also a really great choice if you want more healing from Narja. That's what I mean by that flexibility. That's just fantastic. Either you want her to do more attack or do some more utility, depending on what you want to go for with her. You can do that as well. And then this one is kind of iffy. It's a 3 cost retain, 384% defense based damage to all enemies. If granted both veracity and predation, you activate this 1 more time. So you can do a lot of damage, but still that's a pretty high cost. So completely up to you. And this unique, which I don't really like, each time mealtime is used, you heal 200%. I feel like most of the time you're only going to really use mealtime once. So I feel like you're kind of leaving some stuff on the table If you want a lot more healing, I feel like you're better off going for this Domain of Veracity card personally, but that's just me. And then lastly, we also have Mealtime, which is also your Retain Unique card. Veracity is decreased cost by 1. Get a lot of good damage out of her to all enemies. Heal 120% and you get 4 predation. Really nice card because it also can go down to 0. So that's just kind of funny. And then her Ego skill gives you 10 Veracity, 250% defense-based damage. And if Mealtime is in Graveyard, you gain 5 predation. So if you time it, you get even more predation. That's really nice. So do keep that in mind. Now with partners, here's the deal, right? So is Gaia really worth it? Yes and no. There are some flexibilities that you can do with talking about Nyx and stuff, which I will be doing in a video tomorrow. But TLDR, I really think Gaia is going to be her best fit, not only for her passives, but here's the thing. Her passives, despite the normal, defense increase by 8%, defense-based damage going up 20% for instinct cards, which is targeted towards Narja, the biggest one is when using a unique attack card of the assigned command with an original cost of 6, you gain plus 20% to damage amount of all allies. That is talking about Mealtime. What card specifically with a cost of 6 can go down to 0 because it's original cost, so it doesn't have to cost 6 to trigger. As long as its original cost was 6, you'll trigger this. That's literally Mealtime, so it's hyper specific towards her. And also, her actual Ego skill is really useful because not only do you get 60% defense-based damage times 4, you also draw 1 attack card. That's great utility and some great damage for her overall, so making her a great pick. Now, if you don't have her, you could be using Nyx from the Battle Pass, but despite the Battle Pass partner, you are probably going to be using Alyssa just because it's free and you can max her out. You'll get a lot more attack for Narja, but you're not going to get much utility out of it, but that can be an option as well, especially if you don't really go for partners. Now, despite partners, let's start talking about save data. So my save data, this is definitely my best one in the sense that it kind of encompassed what I wanted. I wanted to go for like this hybrid sub DPS and support. So for my Shackles of Hunger, I did go for the Retain, where it decreases Veracity by maximum 5 and also increases the damage amount. I actually duplicated Bottomless Hunger, decreased cost of 2, managed to get that 3 times. So got a lot of Bottomless Hunger. Voluntary Control, I did go with this one where you gain Veracity and then you gain 3 predation, but I got a nice Divine Epiphany, which reduces the cost of this card by 1. So it made 0. That's great. I also went for the DPS one, where it increases the defense-based damage to all enemies for 2 turns. And then despite the Mealtime, I actually managed to get this draw 1, draw for each cost of card. This nice Forbidden card, so have that as well. Gear is going to be iffy, because I'm going to be talking about this from the sense of Lab 0. And because we are getting a new Chaos, gear is going to be very low on my priority to talk about, because a lot of people are going to be just farming in the new Season 2 Chaos. So a lot of people might not even go for Lab 0 stuff. But for me, I did go for Mutant Predator Spike because most of the time you are going to be having 4 or more cards in hand. But increasing that damage is great. You could probably go for some more support stuff. But honestly, her best support item would be a Cthulhu weapon, which is all RNG. So it's really a shame. If you can't get Mutant Predator Spike, I think Obsidian Sword is a little bit less damage, but still you get some more damage for her. And there are a few ways you can go with the chess piece. Fragment of the Empty Void to me is the best support spot because it discards up to 3 cards, then draw equal to that number. Really good. If not, get Rocket Adorned Cape. But if you aren't interested in going for a more support set, you could probably use the Wings of Freedom to get some damage out of her. And you could probably use the blue Amorphous Cube to get some more damage. Now, in terms of my ring, I did use Superconductive Protein. Now, there is another great Cthulhu. It's like the Sphere of Randomness that you can get that's amazing utility. But that's really hard to do with RNG of Cthulhu and the amount of equipment that they have. So using Superconductive Protein, in my opinion, is definitely going to be the easiest one to go to. At the start of the battle, change the cost of 1 card in your hand to 0 for 1 turn. Just adds more utility for your team. But if you really don't want to use, once again, more support style items, definitely think the Amorphous Cube is definitely going to be a great one to have here, just because you get way more damage for Narja out of this. Despite the gear stuff though, if we go to potentials, she is a very expensive girl, but that's just because I went all in. In my opinion, you really don't need to worry about going for like the basic cards and stuff, but definitely go for this add 2 Veracity to NA defense response if you are planning to keep at least 1 basic card. I really don't use them that much because I'm more focused on the unique cards. So you could go to 7, but I definitely went to 10. Now, defense is going to be very important And that's why I mentioned that stat a while ago, because basic card proficiency, you get +5 healing amount to Narja's NA defense, and if Narja's defense is greater than 250, you add an additional +5% to the modifier. But this isn't the really important one. The most important one is this unique stat upgrade, because you get +10% damage amount to veracity if Narja's defense is greater than 300. You get a +20% damage amount to predation. That's a really great damage amount increase. You got to make sure that you get the defense right. By doing that, you got to play your memory fragments correctly. Now, I personally went with a 2-2-2 set. I'm using the Executioner's Tool, Healer's Journey, and Tetra's Authority. Now, once again, I definitely went with Tetra's Authority just to get that easy defense stat right here, that +12%. But also, making sure you do that critical stat for this top right one here for the ideal set. Make sure you use critical chance, just because critical chance is always going to be nice. You get some better stats. Hey, good for you. I try to go for instinct damage here just to have, and I did end up getting some extra critical chance and a little bit of defense extra. So not bad overall. I personally went with this just because it's a great overall set. Not only do you get a bit more damage for Narja, but when using the Healer's Journey set, you also get more healing out of her. So increasing her whole like hybrid aspect, which I really love. So you can't really go wrong with this 2-2-2 set. That's just my choice though. And then Manifest Ego, honestly, I feel like it's either E0 or E4. Like, it's not worth it going for more unless you got lucky or she's waifu. But if you're not, like, you know, completely into her, E0 is completely fine. You don't have to worry about it, because E4 gives her a +30% damage amount to predation. It's definitely going to be where you want to be with her. So if you can't go all the way, you're fine at E0. Don't stress it, man. But honestly, a lot of people are just going to be at E0 because, once again, we are saving for the limiteds. So it can be very, very trying, but still, do let me know what your thoughts are on her, because, I mean, she looks great, once again, with this wallpaper and stuff. But still, we are moving towards Season 2. Really excited for 9. Let me know what your thoughts are, though. Hopefully this helped, because right now we are just kind of chilling out, waiting for save data. So I just wanted to give, like, kind of like a prefix to, like, what you might expect to see, what you might want to build when it comes to Season 2. Especially since some people don't really want to grind right now, because it is not worth it. So hopefully this helps. But that is going to be it from me. So thank you guys so much for your guys' constant support. Shout out to Smilegate. Take care and have a good one.